Hi, I'm Matt Romine. I'm from Sheridan, Arkansas, but I'm here at Bismarck, Arkansas today to give you guys some insight on a couple encounters I had with what I would say was a Bigfoot. Um, what I do is I train hunting dogs for the public, and you can check that out at www.mountainmaniactreedogs.com. Uh, I've been doing that for right at 2 years now, and where I started training and where I still do so is in the mountains here at Bismarck, just south of Hot Springs. There is 18,000 acres of mountain terrain here. It's now controlled by the Arkansas Game and Fish, which is referred to as Jack Mountain WMA. On the first encounter, a friend and I was here in the mountains running a trap line. I was catching game for training purposes. And it was at night, probably around 10 o'clock, pushing midnight perhaps. And we took a couple of dogs along with us, which is mountain curs, a very common breed uh, for what I do, which is the squirrel dogs and coon dogs. And as we made our way to our first trap, uh, something had been vandalizing it, if you will, for about a week, and had not caught anything there, had not been successful at all. And I rebaited, and we headed back to check another trap, which was approximately 300 yards from the first one there. And as we got close to the other trap, we heard a noise that sent shivers down our spine. My friend Kayla was like, "What was that?" But it was a delayed reaction because it was like we were in shock at what we had just heard. And it came directly from the first trap we had just left. Uh, as soon as it did this, a pack of coyotes started going crazy, but they were going in the opposite direction. Um, I told Caleb that it was a bear. I did not know at the time what it was, but since I have done a lot of research on the internet, listening to different bear sounds, vocals, whatever, and it was not a bear. I cannot tell you what it was, but it was very loud. As I said, it was like 300 yards approximately, but it sounded like it was right there amongst us. And anyhow, I talked her into going ahead and finishing up the trap line. And when we get back to our vehicle, these dogs that are gritty, if you will, are underneath the truck, scared. Uh, they're not afraid of bears, they're not afraid of coyotes. There's really not anything that they are afraid of. They know my commands very well, they're very well trained, and I recall I was trying to get them to come to me to go to the other traps to finish the trap line, and they would not respond. Uh, so the next day, of course, when it was daylight hours, I go back out of curiosity to see what this was, and looking for track sign, and of course, as everyone always hears, I know it's so popular, but it is the truth. It was so rocky, and the ground so hard. There was no tracks to be found, or anything to identify, exactly what it was. So that was the first encounter I had, and the second encounter is when I really became curious as to what this sound was we heard that night. Well, my friend Kayla and I heard this vocalization, and several months had passed, and I was in another area, which is There's 18,000 acres, and where I heard the vocalization was perhaps center. Uh, and on this next encounter where I was working this day, it was on the most western part of the WMA, probably uh, close to 10 miles from where I heard the vocalization. So I'm working dogs, and they go to an area which is known as Needle's Eye Mountain, which is very treacherous. I don't commonly work there. I try to stay away from it, but the dogs stray from location sometime. And on this day, they were doing exactly what I had trained them to do. So I didn't command them to come back. I have to go where they go. It's my responsibility. So I pursued my way towards them, and I'm actually on my stomach climbing up this mountain because it's so steep. I'm grabbing vines, saplings, whatever I can get my hands on to, help myself up. And I hear the dogs start making a bark that is known as a booger bark. It is when they have found something that they are not familiar with. Bears are common in this area. I know they have encountered some. They normally do not pursue them. For them to make this booger bark, as I call it, is not common at all. I would think that they have already found everything that is native to this area. So, of course, I'm trying to get up as fast as I can to see what they have found. And here they come. They come running past me. One literally jumps over me, sliding and running and whatever they can do to get down this, back down this mountain, and they're scared. And so I cannot stop them. They're very, very well trained, very obedient, disciplined, and I try to command them to stop, and they continue to leave. And so, of course, out of curiosity, I continue in the pursuit to see what is up there. And as I near the crest, I start hearing splashes in water. And that's when I saw what I know now, what Kayla and I heard that night. So as I pulled myself over the crest, and I'm hearing these splashes of water, it wasn't something small. I knew before I even got my first look that it was going to be something large. And as I looked down, I saw I can't call it a animal. It was a creature that was very hairy. It stood upright, but it's hard to describe because my attention was drawn. It was so bizarre. It was grasping in its hand a hunter's orange hat. Perhaps someone had dropped out of a truck or lost on the trail, whatever it may be, but it was grasping a hunter's orange hat, and it never turned to look at me, but it knew I was there. Why it waited for me to come to appear rather than the dogs to leave, but it did. It jumped like flat-footed out of water, probably knee deep to this thing, which I don't know how tall it was. It all happened so fast. But it jumped flat-footed up onto another bluff and was gone. And there's no way for me to get even a glimpse of it, because I've already worked so hard to get to where I'm at. And I just had to sit there for a while. I mean, this is something I have spent all of my life in the woods, and I've seen just about everything there is that is native to Arkansas. And this is something that I've never seen before. And as I sat there taking in what I had just encountered, I start reliving that night that Kayla and I was running the trap line and the noise we heard. And it was just shocking. Still to this day, as I think about it, even here today telling this story, I mean, it sends chills down my arms. And it's not actually frightening, it's just amazing to know that there is something out there that we don't know anything about. And it's just giving me shivers up my head right now talking about it. It's just amazing. It really is.
How far was it from here where we're sitting right now?
Approximately anywhere between 2.5 miles.